So if you've been following us for a while, you know we think it's a big deal that you are very intentional about who you're trying to reach at your church. And if that is young professionals, today on this episode, we're going to be talking about 5 ways that you can reach young professionals better.
Welcome everybody to Practical Church Planning, where in 15 minutes or less, we'll give you practical tips, advice, and encouragement to help you plant and grow healthy churches. My name is Brian Drosian. Joining me is Dylan Dodson, and today we're talking about 5 ways to reach young professionals.
So if you want to go all the way back to episode 3, you'll hear us talk about why you should contextualize to your target. Yes. So we are big proponents of finding an age demographic, age demographic seems to be the best way to do it, that you are specifically going after as a church. There is not one better than the other. In our experience, I think, especially a lot of church plants, we just kind of assume, well, we'll just go after young families.
Yep.
That's kind of what we did. We realized it wasn't working. So go listen to that episode, because we're not going to kind of argue why this is really important, other than to say we think it's really important. Yes, we're a church for everybody,
yep,
but you cannot be all things to all people. And so when you focus on our target, like we've even said previously, we've mentioned, when we started focusing more on a target, which ours is young professionals, so we're going to share what we do,
yep,
we actually saw growth in all areas of our church, because
age.
we were more focused on what we were doing. Other people wanted to be involved in on that. So we highly, highly, highly encourage you, episode 3, why you should pick a target demographic and go after it. Ours at New City Church is young professionals. We realized we never did an episode on it. So we want to share with you 5 of the things that we specifically do to target young professionals, whether that's your target or maybe you could apply these to whatever target you are in based on who lives and who goes to your church.
Perfect.
So number 1, and that's to do this, that obviously you're going to have a lot of events at your church, different things are going on, but whenever you have church-wide events, always target them towards young professionals.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So we have a bunch of random different events that we do, but whenever we do church-wide events, they are always, okay, would young professionals want to go to this? If not, then we probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
The one exception is Trunk or Treat in October, because it's just a lot of fun and a lot of young professionals serve at it.
That's true.
But other than that, anytime we do a church-wide event, whether it's a worship night or we do what's called $2 trivia, which we've shared before, episode 40, if you want to listen to that.
Yes.
And you can learn more about what $2 trivia is. Whenever we have church-wide events, everybody's welcome to come, but we think, okay, is a young professional going to want to come to this? If not, we're not going to do this event.
Yeah, and this kind of takes some of the pressure off of you as well when you're planning these events. Because I remember in our first year when we were kind of doing events that would serve everybody, we kind of didn't want to leave anybody out, so we kind of did all these just random events, and it's exhausting trying to figure out all these things that'll work for kind of some age demographics that you're not super familiar with, and just kind of trying to make sure everyone's covered. It's exhausting, and most people that you're trying to make sure are covered probably don't even notice.
Right,
you know?
they don't.
When this way, we've done this towards young professionals, and it's not like we've said only young professionals can come.
Never said it, right.
Right. But this is where we target it, and we've noticed that people of all ages come to our events more and are more engaged in the events than they were when we thought we were directing things directly at them.
Right. And we don't, again, like you said, anybody can come to $2 trivia, but we know that's a young professionals like trivia.
Yeah.
We have a lot of age ranges that come, but just focus on whenever you do church-wide events, think, are young professionals going to want to come? So we did, what we called family fun days a few times, where we got inflatables and face painting. We stopped doing those because it wasn't reaching our target audience, target demographic that we felt God was leading us to go after. And so again, when you can have specific events, youth and all these sort of things, students, all that sort of things. But whenever you have church-wide events, try to plan them towards young professionals. If you want to reach them, everyone will come, but that'll guarantee that they'll actually show up.
Yeah.
Because again, when we did family fun days, guess what was the lowest age demographic?
Right.
Young professionals, because most young professionals don't have kids, or they might have a baby or a toddler who's too young to bounce and all that sort of thing. So do events that are geared towards them so they'll show up. Number 1 with
Makes
events.
sense.
Number 2, this one might kind of make sense, but social media.
Yep.
That you want to be, you don't just want to be engaged on social media, but you want to be doing things that young professionals are drawn towards. Now, we make a big deal about doing things online because that is your first step to reaching people. It's not your website. They're going to check you out online, especially if they're younger. And so you want to make and we do a bunch of episodes on social media. I think episode 2, we talked about social media, a bunch of episodes. But you want to make sure, okay, are these posts engaging? In other words, not just doing what's coming up to the church or news things or whatever. We do something we've talked about before called New City. Yep. So once a week, every Wednesday evening for us, we post a picture of someone in a story. We'll do like GIF posts sometimes.
Yep.
We'll do message clips and message quotes and kind of the generic things that are going around New City. But we also try to make sure we're incorporating, hey, does this look something like a young professional would be interested in and want to follow and look at? Yeah,
this is one of the areas that I think it's kind of obvious that this is what you need to focus on, but you can't skimp on if you're trying to go after young professionals, because this isn't, if if your target demographic is an older generation, or it probably wouldn't be younger, but an older generation, then maybe this isn't quite as important, even though it probably still is. But if you're going after young professionals, I think you have to be on top of it, and you have to be good. Like it can't. Obviously, people come in with different experience, and so you might be coming in saying, "I've never done this before. I got to figure it out," and that's fine. But figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start learning and start kind of growing in it, and it doesn't have to be great from day one.
And you can think too, more so thinking of like, is this like, am I great or is my social media perfect? More think engaging.
Yeah.
Am I doing posts that people like, they want to comment on? And I would say this. You might be like, well, I don't know social media, that you prioritize things that you care about.
Yeah.
And so often people are like, we want to reach the next generation, and they do nothing to do next generation stuff. And it's like, just be honest, you don't really care, or you would prioritize this. So find someone in your church who is excited about it, wants to do it, but start somewhere, start doing posts, see what works, see what doesn't work. If you want to reach young professionals, you've got to make sure you're present and active on social media.
Yeah, and what you said is good. Get someone else involved in it if this isn't your strong suit. Because if you're going after young professionals, then I would assume you have at least a few.
Yeah.
There's a reason that you're going after them. Get them involved in it. If you're not great at it, get someone that is, because there's probably people right under your nose that are that love doing this stuff.
Right. And I can't remember all the episodes. I know episode 2, I think somewhere in the 40s, I can't remember the number, we talk about social media template.
Yep.
And so go back and find some things if you want to get better on that, because that's how you're going to reach young professionals. They're on social media. Make sure you're involved and engaged in that. So that's number 2. Number 3, this one might be you may not think about this much, but it's your facility.
Yeah.
So, for example, at New City, we're actually, if you're watching this, you are watching us record this podcast in an old kids' room.
That's true.
We took, actually, earlier in 2018, when we said this is our target demographic, we changed a little bit of our facility. We actually took away a kids' room, which is like what you don't do in church.
Extremely counterintuitive.
We're like, if we're going after this age demographic, then we want to create a space and a facility where young professionals are attracted to it. Mm-hmm. And so now we have this kind of coffee bar. We've got a little mini fridge that's sodas that people can grab. It's just like a hangout space where people can talk and hang out, to kind of make it more of a place. Again, young professionals like to talk before and after, that there's a place where they could go and hang out, especially because our space isn't very big.
Yeah.
We want to do that. And so again, you may be portable, you maybe have your own space or whatever, but you want to be thinking creatively. How can we make this space more appealing to those who are young professionals that want to hang out and talk? Is there tables and chairs that we need to purchase and set out, even if you're portable? I know it's a pain.
Yeah.
Is there, I don't know, if you have your own space, artwork or whatever you need to do to make your space kind of more towards that age demographic?
Yeah, and this is we might say this a lot, but this is another good one to pull people in on, because especially when you're talking about like space and design, what your preferences might not be the best thing,
right?
Regardless of who you're going after. So if you bring people in that are in that age demographic and kind of have them help you walk through the space, you might not be able to do everything that they want to do, but at least help them weigh in and give a feel of kind of what speaks to them and what draws them in. I think it'll help a lot more than just going at it your own.
Right. And I can't people thinking, well, we're just supposed to preach the gospel and none of this stuff matters, which we've talked in previous episodes. That is a terrible mindset to have. Yeah. This is not about being like gushy and seeker sensitive, if we want to use that term, whatever. Yeah. This is just about creating environments where they want to be. We're not telling you to dumb down your sermons and the things that you teach. We don't even talk about, one of the 5 is not about sermons, but actually research shows that the growing churches and the younger churches statistically are churches that are kind of more, for lack of a better word, Bible driven, not afraid to talk about tough topics. And so that's the bonus for you right in the middle. Yeah. We're not talking about dumbing things down. We're just talking about creating an environment, because psychologically, when you walk into a space, it speaks to you. It makes you feel a certain way. And so if you want to reach young professionals, you want to try the best you can to make it like, oh, this is a place that is inviting and somewhere that I want to be.
Yeah.
And so facility, maybe you need to take away a kid's room. Maybe you need to move something around in your auditorium. I don't know. But just grab a bunch of young professionals if that's who you want to go after and say, given our limited budget and whatever, is there anything that we could do that you think would make this better? Again, for us, we took a kid's room out. We added a mini fridge that's got soda in there, just for people to have a space to hang out.
Yeah, one thing I'd add to this is don't be afraid to challenge kind of what you think is a church's should do.
Yes.
Like you said, when we took away a kid's room, we had tons of people asking us why. And we weren't at the point where we were like cramming kids into a closet because we wanted to make up another space, but we definitely could have kept the kids' room and been fine. But people are don't be afraid to do things that people might question or that seem not necessarily against, but different than what normal churches do if you want to do something different.
And then with that, don't be afraid to give them an honest answer.
Yeah, that's true.
So often we make decisions in church world and we don't tell our people and then they get mad we don't know why.
Yeah.
And they might not understand right away. Give them space to process it. Here's why we're doing this, because we feel given our place where we are located, that this is what God is calling us to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny now that we are out of kids space here, we're renting a Taekwondo place next to us.
Yeah.
But we didn't go back to using this room because young professionals, we're still trying to reach them.
And one thing I'll add, just when we're talking about how it kind of bleeds into all the different areas, just going after one demographic, taking away this kids room, it was okay at first, and then it kind of got a little dicey because we kind of outgrew the kids space that we ended up with. But then, like you said, we ended up moving some of the kids into a Taekwondo studio that is way cooler than if they would have stayed in this room, Right. So it ended up actually helping the kids more, getting them out of this room, and it kind of forced us to come up with other options, which kind of helped everybody.
Yep. So number 3, facility. Number 4, we won't talk long on this one, might seem obvious, but worship style.
Yep.
And the thing about worship styles, everyone just thinks like rock band, and sure, you probably a band is that sort of thing, but like you can still do hymns and deep. I mean, you can still do the classics. You can still do. We're not talking about necessarily song selection. We're mostly just talking about the style. So again, if you want to reach young professionals, probably an a cappella isn't going to work.
Probably not.
Or just singing from a hymn book, And so this may be obvious, but it's okay to cater the worship style to the people you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Not that you're trying to tell everyone else we don't care what you think or whatever. But again, if you're trying to reach someone, then you need to go all in, or it's not really going to work. And so worship style, what are the young professionals in your area, if that's your demographic, what do they prefer to listen to? What do they connect with? And kind of move in that direction if you can.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. It doesn't mean you have to have a huge band, or it doesn't mean, smoke on the stage and stuff like that. But I mean, I've seen it done many times, and we've done it where you can do it very well with just an acoustic guitar.
You can, yeah.
So it's not like you have to throw tons and tons of money into it, but it is a main portion of the service, so it should be in focus.
Right. So if you have a band, or even the song selections, even the arrangement of the song, that can appeal to different age demographics. So worship style. And then here's the last one that's really important, that in my experience is the number one reason why churches, not so much church plants because we need all the help we can get, but more established churches, they want to reach young people, young professionals, and they don't, is because they don't give them opportunities to serve, and not just serve, but to lead. So that's point 5. Give them opportunities to serve and to lead, to give them substantial ability to make decisions, to mess up, and to serve. Like, let them be a part of what's going on. Don't make them sit through like a 6-month training program, or when they get older, like let them make a decision. You'll be amazed, maybe not amazed. I'm not amazed. We've got even for us, we've got a bunch of college students. Like, I keep joking, but it's not a joke, that like pretty soon college students are going to run our church.
Right.
And the reason why is because like we've given some of them big leadership opportunities, and so they're bringing their friends, and now their friends are doing things. We've got this internship thing starting in January with like 6 or 7 college students, which for us is a lot. And it's the first time we've done this. Why? Because we've given them opportunities to lead, to make decisions. So if you want to reach young people, give them something to do, give them a place to serve. If not, then they're not going to come. They're going to go somewhere where they can find that.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add to that is be creative in where you can get them to serve, and find areas that would interest them.
Yep.
Everyone's not interested in being a door greeter, and so if that's the only position you have to serve, even if that's where you want everyone to serve, that's not really a position where everyone's going to be able to take leadership, ability. But get people on social media, get people doing stuff like production. We found a bunch of behind the scenes things with these interns that you talked about that are coming in, a bunch of kind of behind the scenes things that really speak to each one of them individually, and it's going to end up being way better than if we just kind of threw them in a serving position.
Yeah, and also with that too, invite them to meetings and stuff, even if they don't have a say, just for them to get a feel of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because what's interesting is this internship thing that we're starting. I think there's 6 or 7 of them. Only like 2 or 3 of them actually want to be in ministry when they graduate college.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can only use people that want to be in ministry. People just want experience and leadership opportunities just to do something. So give young professionals a place to lead and to serve, even if they don't have a lot of experience. They'll make up for it in passion. I tell people all the time, I'll take someone who's passionate and exciting over experience any day, because you can teach training and skill. You can't teach passion and excitement and willingness to work hard.
Yeah, totally.
So those are 5 ways to reach young professionals. Again, cater your church-wide events to that age demographic. Social media, it's a big deal. Your facility, how can you incorporate that age demographic in your facility, making it a place they want to be? Your worship style, and giving them opportunities to serve and to lead. So thanks for being with us. If you have questions or you want us to talk about in a future episode, practicalplanting.com/questions. Until next time, we'll see you on Practical Church Planting. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Practical Church Planting. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Practical Planting, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure you like or subscribe or do whatever it's telling you to do or should do on that platform.
And hey, if you are so tired of looking at our ugly faces, but you're not tired of listening to our beautiful voices, then you can find our podcast if you just search Practical Church Planting on iTunes or Google Play. Make sure not to just find it, not just to listen, but to subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. Brian, tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe.
See you next time.